mean, Byron threw a crazy party last night. Good job.
Oh, I had so many thank yous for this party, by the way.
Good job.
I was just walking around, people were like, Byron.
Great party.
Great party. Great job.
Great job.
Said, keep following. Come back next time. I think this was our best one. You know, a lot of hard work went into it. A lot of good people working on this thing.
Yeah, is that what you said?
Nicole had a little bit of help. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 84 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
The word is up. The location has changed.
We don't even have a racket behind us.
We'll tell you where we are. You got to wait all the way till the end of this one. To the end. Part of our, what are we going to call that?
I don't know. We have to come up with a name.
Our little marketing moment? No.
That sounds like...
What did we call it last episode?
I don't know that we called it anything. I think we just called
our
it...
marketing...
the fourth racket?
Our marketer of the week?
I don't know. Oh, gosh. It's too much pressure to do it on camera. Yeah, let's wait.
We'll figure out a name. But that's what we did last week. If you didn't see episode 83, go check it out. At the end, we did a little marketing moment. I like calling it the moment.
Ew.
The moment.
I feel like it's just like...
That makes it all weird.
A moment? It's sort of like, you know?
The marketer of the week. All right. We got 3 rackets. Zillow's got some earnings out and some news happening. So let's jump into that right off of the rip here. Zillow.
Are you feeling a little off? Are you feling a little off?
I'm feeling off because I'm on my computer. I'm looking at my phone. That's okay. People can adjust here. Certainly if they're listening, they don't even care.
They don't care.
If they're watching,
I see you just like
fumbling.
Well, you're trying to do like Face ID and the Face ID is not working. So you're doing your code. You're having.
Doing it all.
Yeah, it doesn't recognize you. Maybe because the microphone is jammed up your mouth. Maybe that's why it doesn't recognize you.
It's jammed?
Well, you just love it.
I'm hovering. You know, I'm sitting over this island, but it's actually works really good.
Yeah, I'm feeling I feel like I'm slouching.
All right, so racket number 1. Zillow is still losing money on every home it sells, but they're doing better at losing money than they did 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's great.
So they're losing about $3,000 a home. On average, Zillow lost $2,916 on each home it sold in the second quarter after interest payments, earnings. This is according to the data.
It sounds like where they're losing the money, though, if you do read the article, is mostly in the loans that they're carrying for that. So really more of like the soft costs.
They still lost money before that.
Well, well, maybe a little. Based on the article, it sounded like it was mostly due to the loans that they were having.
Oh, no, you're right. It made on average $1,578.
The taxes, carrying costs
on each home sold in the second quarter before interest expenses were calculated. So, so that's your point is that they were actually up $1,500 when you put in the interest because they're borrowing money.
Right.
By the way. What's interesting, if you go through the comments on this Inman article, then, you know, a couple of people did make a good point that, hey, what if interest rates go up? That gap can get wider. Zillow's projecting it to keep going down and keep trending in the right direction. Well,
I think obviously you just get better as you do it, right? So I bet at first they were putting in offers thinking that maybe their homes would sell in 30 days, and now that they're again maybe seeing that it's taking 120 days, they could at least then, you know, put in maybe lower offers when they're buying these properties. So that's probably why they're doing better, because they just didn't know what their expenses were going to be.
I was surprised to see the average price of these homes, $286,000 per home in the second quarter. I thought that was a little bit higher than the price point that I imagined Zillow being, you know, a real option for people in this situation.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, like, they're out of Seattle, so, right?
Well, the headquarters, I mean, the Zillow...
Well, how many spots are they doing it? They're doing it in most major cities. It's not like they're hanging out here in, like, little Guilford.
By 2020, they're going to be into 26 different markets. They're in 20 markets, I think, currently, but definitely 26 by 2020. And, you know... Obviously, over time, they feel like they're going to be able to address the entire U.S. market with this option, meaning the option being, you know, I'm certain everybody knows at this point, but Zillow literally buying the home at a discount, iBuyer model, right?
Yeah.
So, to your point, they are in larger markets, but so I guess maybe that's not.
No,
but it's still higher than the average price point in America
right?
overall.
But we're also talking about major
Yeah.
cities. Like we're just, I mean,
All right. So
but
here's
I'm
the
hearing
thing.
you.
They're losing money right
Mhm.
now when money is cheap to borrow. They're losing money on each one of these transactions.
Mhm.
Is this going to be detrimental? Is this gap going to get wider? I don't think any of us know that, but
Mhm.
could you see a scenario where that's happening, or do you think it's just a total racket to believe that Zillow is going to set themselves up for failure?
Oh, I think it's a total racket that they're going to set themselves up for failure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to figure it out. They're just, again, I think that they're still just figuring out their numbers, figuring out what their soft costs are. I think that they're also trying to figure out maybe I'd actually be interested to see the numbers based on cities. Like, but it sounds like all of them are losing, but then they're giving you an average. So I'm curious where they're losing more.
In this article, we don't see it. Maybe we could see that on the earnings report.
Yeah.
What I think is definitely not a racket is the amount of data that Zillow internally is collecting based off of these transactions.
For sure.
They believe over the next 5 years, by the way, they'll get to 60,000 transactions, which will only be about 1% of the transactions that happen on a year-to-year basis on average. They think they'll get there in 5 years. But they're collecting a ton of data. They're creating a ton of opportunities for people to, in Rich Barton's words, have a end-to-end seamless real estate transaction process.
Right, because if they're able to get those people to buy mortgages, I
Right.
mean, that's where the money is. I mean, they could lose $2,000 all day long on a real estate transaction and make up for it on a mortgage end.
And there's a quote in here from Rich Barton. Zillow Home Loans is a key element of our strategy to offer a seamless end-to-end real estate transaction experience. So Zillow Home Loans, the
ain't
mortgage lenders of America purchase in, I think it was 2018 last year, is a big play for them. It's a big reason they want to be involved in a lot of transactions so that they can offer other services. We've been talking about this for a long time. I think all the way down to the individual agent level and all the way up to the big brokerage level. And I think Gary Keller speaks to this probably more often than anybody at the brokerage level, is being able to create, I mean, Amazon certainly is getting into this world, these home service packages or basically customer for life in their home maintenance and ownership needs through basically being involved in the transaction from the start, right? So then through whether it's AI or just tech or just offering them the best experience, being the go-to option for them to service the home. If Zillow starts to put, okay, mortgages is an obvious, and brokerages have been doing that traditionally. I mean, Zillow's basically becoming kind of a brokerage, right? But brokerages have been doing that, offering mortgages. If Zillow starts to now capitalize on all the other opportunities, right? So like they're buying homes. Why wouldn't they now start? They're buying homes and then having to fix these up in the purchase process, right? Sometimes there's some repairs.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they go out and put together some type of a national construction contractor type of service?
Well, they should. I mean, they should own their own contractors. They should be in control of their own contractors, because that's the only way for them to keep their costs down there.
I think there's a lot of plays that we're not taking into account. It's easy when you go through the comments, people are like, you know, somebody posted the Titanic ship sinking. They put a link up to YouTube of the Titanic, the movie, saying, oh, Zillow's just this big ship that is sinking. They're losing money. As the market softens, this is going to get worse for them. You know, I don't believe that. I think they're collecting a ton of data, and they're going to be able to go into a number of different directions, some of which can be really scary if you're an agent out there not building your own brand. And some of it, to me, is just obvious, like getting into whether it's construction or the mortgage, multiple flows of income around the transaction. I think losing $2,900 now is, I mean, heck, I think if you ask Zillow, would you pay $3,000 to get basically all of the data from a transaction? I think they do that over and over and over again right now as they're in this race for data. So
of course, they're not dumb.
Yeah, I don't think it's a racket that they're losing money, and I don't think they'll lose money on this process overall.
They definitely have a big
for a long term.
They have a big picture. They have a big picture here.
All right, with that, segueing right into racket number 2. This segues nicely, Nicole. Nicole picked out all 3 of these, so she really
I pulled my weight today.
She was really thinking
I did
about the flow of rackets. And racket number 2 is iBuyers cost sellers up to 15% of a home's value. This study is a market analytics firm called Collateral Analytics. They went through and did the hard numbers on the much debated cost of using iBuyer, which bracket number one, Zillow Instant Offers is an iBuyer, right? Open Door is an iBuyer. So what does that cost to the consumer? They're saying it could cost up to 15% of the home's value. So, okay, that can be used as ammunition for an agent to say, okay, listen, your home's worth $300,000. You're going to take 15% less than that, which is like 355, right? Or 255, I believe, right? Or you can use me and, you know, whatever that may be. Say my commission's going to come up to $20,000. There's a significant, you know, $20,000, $55,000, $35,000
There's
cash
difference in your
difference
pocket
to the seller.
Right.
Now the seller certainly has to operate under different conditions when they're using an agent, like having their home available to show and having it show ready. Where in the other case, you know, you're basically giving up in the $300,000 example that I just laid out using Collateral Analytics numbers, this market analytics firm. You're basically paying $30,000 in that example for convenience of just like, I know the date, it's going to be in like 7 days.
Right.
They're actually helping me move and like I'm out of here and I don't have to deal with even negotiating.
It doesn't really sound, I mean, I think in the negotiating end, it sounds very simple, but it's the iBuyer process though is still very much the same. There's still a home inspection. They can still come after you for items or hit you harder for money. So
they can retrade you on that deal. And as listen, if you're a consumer right now and you're thinking about taking a Zillow Instant Offer, an Open Door offer, be prepared for the retrade from these companies, like coming back and saying, no, this is this, and this.
It's not as is.
We're giving you less.
Yeah.
And so be prepared to get yourself out of that deal. Be prepared to walk away and go to the open market as a plan B, you know, because it may fall apart in terms of their original terms and then what you actually get as you go through that process.
And their fees sound like they're much larger too.
Yeah.
I think Open Doors between, they said like 7 and 10% for convenience.
If I'm an agent and I'm in one of these communities, which we are not, we're not really in a community right now yet in Connecticut where there are iBuyers. You know, Open Doors not here. Zillow Instant Offers hasn't moved into this market. You know, we have traditional investors, but we've always had that, right? People buying homes at a discount and then revitalizing them and so on and so forth. We've seen one of those, right?
Maybe.
Right? So if I'm an agent in one of those marketplaces, I'm putting out a video a week at minimum, educating the consumers about, hey, you can get retraded in these deals. Like when a firm like this puts out some data, some hard numbers, I'm going to be talking about that ad nauseum so that at least when they go to make the decision, they're also having an alternative conversation. And as an agent, that's all you want is an alternative conversation to everything that they're thinking about. And maybe we've said this a number of times on the show, maybe you want to offer an iBuyer solution yourself as a team or as a brokerage or an indie brokerage, whatever you may be.
Right.
We're certainly going to take steps in that direction when certainly, hopefully before Zillow Instant Offers moves into this market, right? So that we can offer the same thing. And right now, if they're in your market, it's probably easier than ever to put that together because there's so much money out there.
For sure.
So now you had made a good point when we were talking before the show about comps. Yeah, I think that's an interesting angle.
Obviously right now there's not many happening, but I mean, if they do continue to sort of buy out these homes at a cheaper, I mean, you're almost going to drive the market down. I don't know. Again, I don't know how deep or how much or what have you, but it certainly will be an interesting conversation. Especially amongst like appraisers, because if they're going to, be using some of these comps, it's going to just.
But here's the thing: it's costing them the 13 to 15%, but the sale price could be within that range because of the fee. Right. There's a 7.5. That's the other thing. The average Zillow Instant Offer fee. This is ammunition. If I'm an agent, this is ammunition. The Zillow Instant Offer fee to do the whole thing is on average 7.5%.
Right.
So that is a 7.5% commission.
Right.
Okay. Which is, let's just be honest here, guys. I know they want us to talk about beans and goddamn M&Ms.
Carrots.
That's more
apples.
M&Ms than most agents are charging.
That's
okay.
for sure.
So,
It's a lot of M&Ms.
Yeah. All right. There's some cool information there. Check
I
out
do like chocolate though. So
You like chocolate?
I do.
What do you like?
Dark.
The peanut or the
No, dark chocolate.
dark chocolate?
No peanuts.
They don't have dark chocolate M&Ms. Or is it a regular M&M dark chocolate?
They have dark chocolate M&Ms. Oh my gosh. That's sad.
That's interesting.
I'll bring them to you. They're in the purple bag.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone buys those.
Yes.
Are they still around?
Lots of people buy them.
All right.
Maybe let me know how many of you buy dark chocolate M&Ms.
Or if you've ever even heard of dark chocolate M&Ms.
People have heard about dark chocolate M&Ms.
Throw a comment in the comment box if you've ever heard
The comment box.
Yeah, the comment box. What else would you call it? The comment section?
I don't know.
All right, racket number 3. Oregon becomes the first state in the nation to nix single-family zoning. We talked about this.
We did many episodes
Many?
ago. I think it was
many.
many. Well, what do you consider
many moons ago.
What do you consider many? 10.
10. You think it was that long? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was inside of 10, but
You do?
I'll bet you a bag of M&Ms. But anyway,
Only if they're dark.
I like this. So this is only in communities that have over 10,000 residents. So it's not the whole state, but it's communities over 10,000 residents. I love this. I don't think it's a racket. I think I expressed that the last time we talked about it.
Yeah.
And
you felt like cities were going to have to start doing that in order to continue to grow.
Yeah, and more
or
so,
at least facilitate the population growth.
Yeah, I mean more so like we're sitting in a small little Connecticut shoreline town right now.
We have more than 10,000 people
and we
here.
have more than 10,000 people.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of land in this town. Not necessarily great land to go building subdivisions on, but we've got land.
No, well, there's other regulations though in this town though. So I mean, septic systems and setbacks. So I mean, it's a little different.
This town doesn't have city sewer, so it's a little bit more difficult here. I get that.
Yeah.
But you have, like, to do a subdivision in this town, right? You're probably going to need a couple acres, at least a lot.
Potentially.
Right, depending on where you are.
Right.
So if you're now talking about putting a house on or a unit on less than a quarter of an acre, and right, I think there's a lot to that because now you can utilize maybe a piece of land that wasn't looked at as an option.
Right.
Or property, you can get more into a closer downtown. There's a lot of infrastructure to support that, all of this. What I'm ultimately getting at, which I think is a really good thing about doing away with some of this zoning, single family zoning, for example, is that we're going to have a huge need for baby boomers to purchase affordable options.
Uh-oh, we're having problems.
I know, little problem there.
You move it too much.
Affording options to live in, to buy, or to rent that are new, that are nice, that are well done, that are a safe place to live. It's just going to get really hard as some of these people retire out and leave the workforce and start to lose their income.
Right.
And, to your point, I mean, if iBuyers take over, right, and the numbers drop, like there's just a lot of things. They may not get as much for their house. Certainly here in Connecticut, a lot of them are seeing that. They're not getting as much for their big house when they sell it. Tax implications, all that. I just believe there's got to be, and the word affordable housing always scares people.
It scares people to death.
It scares people to death, but there has to be an affordable option for people to both rent and purchase. And the only way to do that is to get rid of some of these restrictive zoning regulations.
I think though the another important thing though to mark here, because obviously if you don't have to have if the single family zoning is gone, the ease of being able to then do it is like tenfold, because instead of having to look into a home and then going through the zoning process that could take 30-60 days, a lot of people are just apprehensive of even going after these homes because they don't know if it's possible or not. So everyone's always looking for the home that already is the in-law, or they already know that it could potentially be an in-law, where I think buyers are then squished down to only look at certain homes that have it. Obviously the people that already have it, it's wildly helpful but only if you have a buyer that's looking for it. But I do think that there's going to be, for Oregon at least, I feel like ease, because if I already own a home and I do want my parents to move in, or I do want, if I have a child.
Some of the zoning that can impact the home you're already living in.
Yes. Yeah. Or if you have a child that is graduating college and there's no place affordable for them to live either, but you don't want them living in your home, it'll be so much easier for you to then sort of pull that permit to build that extension without having to be like, okay, we now have to wait 60 days to find out if we can do it, so.
Yeah, I like that option, living or creating a in-law
Well, I
or a
think that it's going to
two-family.
be even for those baby boomers. So like say they can't afford to sell because they even bought at like a lower interest rate, because we talked about that once before, because interest rates went down for so long that people refinance. So it's actually cheaper for them to stay in these larger homes. So in this situation, they could turn it into let's turn it into a multi. We'll live on the first floor, honey. We'll rent out the second floor.
Yep.
And they could actually then stay in their home.
I'm about to talk out of both sides of my mouth because I want to do away with this zoning, but I also, as you're saying this, I'm getting scared of putting decisions in homeowners.
Well, I'm sure that there's some. I'd like to think that she did put some sort of regulatory.
Yeah, there's got to be a standard of like, okay, if you're gonna
there.
slap an in-law apartment onto your house, like, don't make your house look like.
No, I'm sure there'll probably be
Crap,
height
don't-
restrictions.
right.
I mean, you were sitting in house
But
right now.
you get it-
We wanted to do an apartment above a garage, but there was a height restriction based on
Yeah.
where we were zoned. We could do the apartment. We can still have an apartment here, but there's height restrictions and
People don't want to
know.
get an architect involved because it costs money, blah, blah,
Well,
blah.
you have to. I mean,
but
you
a lot
have
of
to have
times you end
seals.
up.
I mean, there's so many other things besides just like,
Yeah.
hey, doing away with zoning, and now I can't just like
Right.
start knocking on wood on my outside.
I'm a big fan of HOAs because it controls the environment. And, you know, I think I'm always going to prefer long-term to live in an HOA because I don't like having a neighbor that I can't control if they want to put,
Like a laundry
you know,
line.
if they want to have a lawnmower just sitting out in their front yard
lawnmower.
forever.
Well, if you're,
You know, like people just like a junk mower, or a junk car just sitting there rotting away. That stuff drives me absolutely bonkers. Right? When you live in an HOA,
you can call the town though and like do like a Blythe complaint.
yeah, but these towns don't do it. Not here, not here in Connecticut. They don't do
Yeah.
nothing about it.
Well, why don't you just
They
walk
start
over
sending
and
over
move the
warnings.
I mean, a lawnmower you can move. Like maybe you just go over there
Oh,
and
just
offer.
go over and get shot or something by the
Well,
neighbor?
I
Are you kidding
mean,
me?
I don't know that. I don't even know that we need to go quite that dramatic, but
I'm not going to go start moving lawnmowers in
could
somebody
just-
else's yard.
Maybe.
I mean, nuts.
fine.
I,
Like a town
here's
cleanup day, like
here's
offer out like a dumpster.
here's the best idea I've heard so far on doing away with zoning in some areas locally where we have towns that have a need for more housing. Is basically think, and this word is going to make you cringe. So I'm looking in my own head for a better word. Think trailer park,
Okay.
right? That type of living, but with these, the trendy thing is these small tiny homes, a whole bunch of these tiny homes, you know, instead of trailers, so that it's a nice, beautifully landscaped.
So they don't own their land. They just own their.
In this
'cause usually
scenario
in
that
trailer
I'm,
parks,
in
they
this
don't
scenario
usually
that I'm
own land.
describing, you would not own the land,
Yep.
but you'd have a beautiful single family tiny home, no
So
basement.
back to the HOA.
Yeah, I'm wrapping it all into an HOA,
You
and
are.
people want to avoid HOAs, but you could get a much lower priced option home, and you'd have to pay for the HOA. You're gonna have to pay or do the yard work and all that.
Well, you're
kind of
assuming
stuff.
that everyone's looking for something lower. Some people are just looking for doors. I mean, you're looking for doors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get
That
you
would
can
be,
get the doors,
you know, it would be great there though too. Is like Airbnb it.
right?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other things that you can do without
a lot
the
of
single
options there.
family
All right.
there.
So that's interesting. Big ups to Oregon, and first
Yeah.
state to do that. I think more will follow suit as.
What's her name again? Do
we're
we have her
looking
name?
for-
Nancy?
I don't know.
It was in the article.
I was chatting with a Nancy last night.
Yeah. Oh,
Governor Kate Brown.
Kate Brown. Props, Kate.
Kate Brown. All right. Let's get into. We're gonna try this on the show. I don't know what we're gonna
the
call it
marketing
yet.
moment.
The marketing
it's
moment
Just such a, I
of
feel like,
the week.
I feel like moment is just
Ladies and gentlemen,
the wrong word. But
here
we
is your
can-
marketing moment
your
of the week.
like, it's
All right, so
super hokey.
we're here out of our office, our studio in our office, sitting in one of Nicole's recent. We don't call them flip. We call them
Rehabs?
Rehabs.
It's a rehab.
One of Nicole's recent rehabs with the house that social media built. We're definitely going to link that up. Pop that thing up here.
Hey, we could show a quick little video. Maybe they can.
Yeah.
So they get like a little quick idea of what it is.
We can show definitely either a video or a photo, something here. One of
Oh,
the
you
two.
mean up there? I thought I was talking about more about your link. You know, like
Oh,
when
we
you're
can
like,
link. Oh, we
"Hey,
can link.
YouTube. We,
Well,
we
let's-
link them all up.
We'll link the Facebook page up. Absolutely. Like you should go onto the Facebook. Nicole, explain to everybody that doesn't know what the house social media built
Yes.
is,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll tell you why this was the magical marketing moment of the week.
Wow, we're adding another M.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Ooh,
it's like
triple M.
M&Ms.
M&Ms.
dark M&Ms.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we're on to something here. So the house social media bill, we renovate homes. So, but what we do is we renovate them with our Facebook followers. So we buy a house, and again, I'm going to use like the dirty word of flip. So when we're flipping it, we give out options. So countertops are a vote. Cabinets are a vote.
They did a good job voting on this one.
Yeah, this was a great countertop that they chose. So everything from, again, knobs, paint colors,
the entire house,
everything
basically.
that goes into the, for the most part,
Yeah.
a lot of things that go into the major items that go into the home are voted on by our followers. And then once we finish the house, we then throw a big reveal party, which we had last night.
So the reason this is the magical marketing moment of the week here in America
Wow.
is, yeah, we'll just throw that out there. This is the
Yeah.
best marketing done of the entire week in real estate. This even beats Chris Cortazzo going from
moving to Compass.
Coldwell Banker to Compass. That's a big moment
Huge.
for
Thank
Compass.
you.
This is bigger than that, Nicole.
Thank you.
So like there's a whole bunch of people out there pulling off mega open houses or advertising mega open houses. I don't know if they're pulling them off, and there's certainly, TF is a big advocate of throwing mega open houses. This is what a real mega open house looks like.
Yeah, so every sheet on here was, I don't know that everybody signed in, but we
no, everyone did not sign in.
We did have people, we asked everybody to sign in because we were going to be giving away some prizes for them coming, but I would say we probably had about 500 people.
Yeah, hundreds of people were here last night. I can attest
drinks,
to that.
Band.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, you had the food trucks.
Yes, we had an ice cream truck.
Everything free. So everybody shows up,
Everything, we give
they get a free
everything for
giveaway,
Yes.
free stuff.
Free
Hundreds of
drinks.
people, about 500 people, and also a whole bunch of RSVPs online with emails.
Yes, so we
and-
got another 100 in. I think we broke our record. So I think we got maybe 150 RSVPs just online.
Right.
Which is interesting to me because I feel like up to this point, people know that they don't have to RSVP, but we still ask them to RSVP and they do. So love that.
So if you're, looking to really get attention, I mean, to me, there was, months and months, really years of work that goes into this because it's really, what house was this? What number?
This is house number 7.
House number 7.
It's been 3 years.
So it's a big following. Been 3 years of work. This particular house, 6 months of work or whatever, 9 months, whatever.
It was 4.
From the time that you found it for.
Well, so we bought it, but we didn't start this marketing approach until April. So it was
Yeah.
about 4 months to build up to the end. Yeah.
But you can see the results. So if any agent team out there is, thinking, how do I make a difference in my market? How do I stand out? And really engage with a lot of people at once, because that's always our goal, is
And your
conversations,
community,
engagement,
though,
and your
too.
community.
So we have a lot of like build partners,
Yeah.
between our lighting and again like our countertops, our cabinets, and then also like the food trucks and all. So it really is a great sort of forum for the community to highlight the town, highlight the
And
businesses that are here.
If
and
you go
what
on
they do.
Nicole's link, House Social Media Built on Facebook, you'll see they engage the community to vote every single week. So it's engaging the community so that they feel basically indebted to the project, or more so like they had a real hand in it,
Oh,
which
absolutely.
they did.
They 100%. I mean, it's theirs.
Yeah.
They built this
And,
for sure.
and then they show up, and this house in particular is going to go on the market next week.
Yes.
This week. Really, when you're seeing this video, this house will be listed for sale. So
Oh, so maybe we can link up the listing too. They could see.
yeah,
Maybe they could see some of the photos and see what they like.
absolutely.
That's fun.
So congratulations, Nicole.
Thank
You are
you.
the winner of the second magical marketing moment ever.
Okay.
All
I don't know that I like magical.
Number 2.
magical.
The second one.
I'm the second M&M.
Yes.
The green M&M.
The triple M. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks,
please. What am I supposed to say? Smash the like button?
Oh, my
Is that what he
God.
wants?
Nope.
Smash it?
I don't know.
Smash it up?
I
Sam? You like
remember
that?
we went over this? We went over the smoosh room. It reminds me too much of the smoosh room. I mean.
Throw us a like, for crying out loud. Thank you, guys. Keep
Thank
it
you.
real. We'll see you next time.
Bye.